A goal of the captain in the night of the captain. Juventus 1, Cremonese 0 after a fantastic assist of Federico Chiesa for the number 6 that took the shirt of Gaetano Scirea back then, honoring the memory of Gianluca Vialli yesterday. Juventus 3 points. We are there at -4 at the moment of Napoli. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you are all doing well. Today we will speak about opinions, about what happened yesterday, about the individualities, Locatelli, the miracle of Paredes maybe. Can Max Allegri do it again? Let's start step by step. It's not a tactical video, that will come later. Tutto Sport is opening with Abbiamo vinto per Gianluca. We won for Gianluca Vialli. How can we not start with the beautiful opening of yesterday's game with Gianluca Pessotto, ex-teammate of Gianluca Vialli. Together they won the Champions League. That was reading a beautiful letter for Gianluca Vialli in a sold-out stadium that was quite emotional. What an emotional night. And it's not a mystery that Juventus yesterday, they started a bit shaking, not really knowing what was happening, maybe still thinking about the emotional moment that they just were living a few seconds before the first whistle of the referee yesterday. That was actually whistling for the first time Juventus in Serie A. Juventus that we can't actually say a lot more and different things than the game of Cremonese, where again we had to wait really the last quarter of the game before seeing Juventus that was trying the fino alla fine to win that game 1-0 at the 86th minute. The Cremonese game we had to wait until injury time because it was a free kick of Milik. This time, the progression, the evolution is that it's coming from an open goal. And this is something that we were asking the last time. It's fine to solve the game in the last minute, but if we are able to do it a bit before and maybe on an open play, it would be even better. Is everything solved? Not yet. We will speak about that in a second, but I want to stop on Danilo because we spoke from one captain, Danilo, to the other, Gianluca Vialli. We have to speak about the heart of Danilo. Danilo that is a bit older, a bit mature, one that was absolutely not the captain of Juventus. It was not even in the ideas of Juventus to make him a captain when we signed him in that swap deal with Cancelo from Manchester City. A disaster first season with Maurizio Sarri. Yesterday, he was there as a real leader, as a real captain. I tell you, Danilo, that is in discussion to renew his contract. I was not in favor of renewing his contract that soon, especially not until 2026 because he's getting older. But yesterday I was thinking, he represents the spirit of Juventus, the DNA of Juventus, and I watch Juventus since the beginning of the season, and this season it's really a strange season because we are playing with a lot of youth players, next gen under 19, and we are all proud and happy about it, but we start to lose these mature players with experience and leadership. Chiellini went away, Buffon, that I have the shirt on today, went away. We have so many icons that left, and next year we will even have more of them. Quadrado, Alexandro, Bonucci is not anymore the leader on the pitch. Was he ever a real leader? That's the big question. So we need these kind of players. Yesterday, Danilo, he represented that maturity that was needed also to transmit it, to share with these young players. So I'm happy about not only the performance of Danilo on the field and not only his goal, but we have to take one thing in mind. In the last 8 victories of Juventus, 8 wins with 0 goal conceded, he was there always from the first minute until the last. So we can say that he's bringing something, and especially in that new role, defense with 3 men, a bit more central, that more than when he was playing as a right back. I think that Danilo can be praised a lot and appreciated by the mass. Guys, Corriere dello Sport is opening with Il max che si può, the max that we can give, the max that Juventus can give. And that's my first question. Is it really the max that we can give? Well, at the moment, I want to say probably yes. Probably yes, because we switch in a 3-5-2, more because of obligations than because of the initial idea of the season. You remember that we wanted to go with a 4-3-3, with Pogba, with Di Maria, with Kostic, still a question mark, where do we play him? But no worries, because Federico Chiesa will be there mid-September, maybe even October. Well, we went to a 3-5-2 because of obligation. That 3-5-2 that gave us a solidity in defense and that we don't want to change anymore. Absolutely not. A lot of absence Juventus, I told you, Pogba is still not there. Vlahovic, we are missing him because people, they forget probably about Vlahovic, but he's not playing an official game with Juventus since October. That's really long. So at the moment, probably, yes, this is it. But it's also a strategy, because we were speaking about it yesterday in the pre-game video. Juventus that is actually managing the energies in the first time, because we know that in the second half, when the energies of the opponents is lowering, we have some quality on the bench to change that game. The qualities of Paredes and Chiesa that entered yesterday and changed absolutely that game. I want to make an applause and also a beautiful word, spending beautiful words to two players in particular. It's Weston McKennie and Daniele Rugani. Starting with Daniele Rugani, that every time that some people are seeing the predicted lineup and that Rugani is there, well, they start with the hate machine. Hating on a guy that is actually never controversial, is actually never doing worse things. And if you are looking at all the stats of the last season of Daniele Rugani, every time that he's playing is really strange and rare when we are conceding goals. He's doing his job. Are we speaking about his salary? No, because when we are judging what he's offering on the field, we can't speak about salary. That's an off-topic question. And yes, he's earning way too much to be the 5th or 6th choice. Knowing that you are the 5th or 6th choice is not easy. Knowing that you are playing not because the coach wants you to play, but because there is nobody else, Bremer, Bonucci, it's not an easy task, especially if the other ones that are playing are always going with clean sheets. You know that the responsibility is high. And yesterday, Daniele Rugani again was showing security, as he showed last year with De Ligt. So beautiful words for Daniele Rugani, but also for Weston McKennie, a player that is not particularly one of my favorite ones. I repeated yesterday, if we have to sell him in the winter, not even replacing him, I would say why not? But yesterday again, sacrificing himself in a different role, and what a beautiful performance of McKennie. Not the Calcio Champagne that you are expecting, absolutely not, offensively not, but yesterday with Makengo, success, and the number 13, Udogie, it's quite difficult. He showed really a lot of beautiful things defensively in a role that was not his. For a few minutes he even changed, and that's the ability of Weston McKennie to change role in the game and try to interpret it in a really good way. Anyway, yesterday McKennie did it really well. I want to speak about Locatelli's birthday today. Happy birthday, 25 years for Manuel. Well, again yesterday, not a good performance, like he didn't do it versus Cremonese. Versus Cremonese, defensively he was there, offensively absolutely not able to create. We were counting on him yesterday, but yesterday he totally ghosted the game, and defensively and offensively, and it's not a mystery that the first half was not beautiful. It was Di Maria to create up front, but looks like Locatelli said, you know what, I take myself out of it. And that's a pity, because we are counting a lot on him. The good thing is that Paredes yesterday, when he entered totally different than versus Cremonese. Yesterday he entered as we want him to enter, not only because of that fantastic pass to Federico Chiesa that started the 1-0, but he totally entered in a different way. Is Allegri able to change and to have the real Paredes that he asked and insist to have in the beginning of the season? Let's see. He did it with Rabiot. He believed in it when nobody was believing in Le Duc, in the French number 25. Will he be able to do it with the Argentinian number 32? Big question mark. At least until the end of the season, that would be fantastic to have him. And then Chiesa, Di Maria. Chiesa is entering again, ghosting the right side, but the ability of Chiesa is that he's able to play on both of the sides. This is something that Kostic, that didn't play that well yesterday, is not able to have. He can only play on the left. Well, Chiesa can play and on the right and on the left. And when he was moved to the left side of the field with McKennie on the right, Sule, seconda punta, second striker, well, Chiesa was there. Fantastic performance of Chiesa in the last minutes, but also the dynamism, the boost, that Juventinità that is putting on the field is fantastic. If we can have a Di Maria that one day will be able to play 90 minutes, Federico Chiesa and Di Maria could be fantastic. We didn't had the chance to see them enough together on the field. Di Maria, that when he was playing, at a certain moment he was inventing magic. Mamma mia, Di Maria. Guys, the last one, La Juve fa paura. La Juve fa paura. These are the paper of Gazzetta dello Sport who is saying Juventus is scaring the opponents again. And I have to say, probably it's true. Not only Juventus is scaring the opponents, but also Max Allegri is scaring Sule. At a certain moment, Max Allegri is totally out of control. He's totally crazy. He's really yelling and screaming at Sule. Why? Because in these last minutes, Sule is trying to dribble, to go up, and playing a small set piece really fast. And he's telling him, screaming to him, you have to take that ball and put it there in the corner side. I tell you again, a bit of inexperience of these youth player, and that's why I told you in the beginning of this channel, of the video, a player like Danilo will be super important, of that maturity and experience to talk with the youth, to explain them what they were doing well and what they were doing bad. Speaking about the opponents, yes, yesterday there was Inter Durawing versus Monza. Monza is not an easy team to play against. We know it because we lost 1-0. By the way, pay attention. In a few days, we play versus them in Coppa Italia. Well, yes, they did 2-2. That means that at the moment we are at +3 on Inter, which is fantastic. Great. Today, we are able to put some pressure on two teams. Milan, that will play versus Roma in the last game of the day, but also Napoli, that will and is obliged to react after they lost versus Inter 1-0. Well, if something happened today to Napoli, in the Maradona Stadium on the Friday the 13th, attenzione, because that can be really, really huge. We had one mission, to believe in it, to do our job, to start winning again. Convincing is something else, but at least winning with the result, and mission is at the moment accomplished. Thank you, grazie, forza, Juve.